You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging out with you guys. And today we have a great guest interview. We have none other than Wyatt Conklin on the phone. So Wyatt, welcome to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast.
Thank you, Brian. How's it going tonight?
I'm doing good, brother. It's been a busy day over here. We're actually shooting this real time on a Monday night. It was the only time that really worked out because we're all mowing grass and making that cash. Hey, man.
That's right, yeah.
That's awesome, man. So we're going to do a little guest interview here. I love getting other people on the show, different perspectives, different age groups, and Wyatt's a young hustler. He's a entrepreneur out of the greater New York area. So why don't you give these guys the quick 1 or 2 minute highlight, and then we're going to get a little bit more into your story.
Yeah, sounds good. So my name is Wyatt Conklin. I'm from outside Rochester, New York. I just turned 23 about a month ago. This is our 6th season in business. I started after I graduated high school in 2016. I went to college for baseball. Went to college for 4 years, studied business. So just at that point, I was just, hustling through the summers, spring, summer, fall, not doing any snow or anything. Then I graduated from college last spring. Last year was our first full-time year. Did a bunch of snow, then the normal lawn maintenance, landscaping stuff.
Okay.
And this year we bought a small company out a couple months ago, so we're ramping up more for our second full season.
That's awesome, man. Well, this is going to be good. So you're 23, been doing it for a little over 6 years. So that means you got started, you were in high school.
Yep. Yeah. It was my senior year of high school, spring. So I think I started April 1st of 2016 was my technical start date, I guess.
That's awesome, man. Well, this is going to be good. And then you're an athlete and a baseball kid, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. So growing up, my whole life kind of revolved around sports, baseball, basketball. I always knew I wanted to play in college. That was kind of, my only plan really as far as going to college. I didn't have much interest in education, to be honest, but the baseball kept me really interested. So that's kind of what I, based my whole college experience off of. Looking back, could I have done without college? Yeah. Would I probably be further along? Yeah, but I definitely got, some good stuff out of it that, makes me not regret it.
I like it. Amen. Well, I've had my fair share of, before we hit record, I was telling you, I had 3 different kids that had worked for me that all had played baseball. And telling you what, man, you chuckle because you guys know that you're a rare breed and a special type. And I love my baseball kids, man. You guys are crazy. So the kids I had working for me, I had to literally lock the doors in the truck so they wouldn't jump out the window. Okay. They're crazy. And I actually literally just saw one of them the other day at a home show up here in Michigan. He's working for a roofing company doing sales and all that. And we were just talking about all these funny yuck stories from back when he worked for me just a couple years ago. And he's crazy, but he's a baseball kid. He played shortstop. And so he's probably the squirreliest of all the squirrely kids on the team. You know what I mean? So
nice. Yeah.
You know how that goes. But let's do this really quick. We got to make sure that we take care of the show announcements, the show sponsors, and just give everybody all the latest and greatest going around in our ecosystem. So let's do this. We're going to come right on back, hear a little bit more of Wyatt's story here, but let's tee it up to Marty, Mr. Producer, and then we're going to come right on back.
Hey, Lenny Magno with Exmark here with some food for thought when it comes to choosing the right zero-turn mowers. What do you value in a zero-turn mower? Productivity, reliability, cut quality, or a combination of each? At Exmark, we're constantly listening to our customers to ensure our Laser Z mowers deliver the right features, productivity, and uptime performance to help them grow their business. Visit Exmark.com to learn about the innovations that make the Laser Z the green industry's most trusted zero-turn mower.
Looking to get new customers, including commercial clients? LawEntrepreneurAcademy.com has you covered. Looking to learn the best new strategies for postcard marketing? We've got that covered too. Get instant access to 6 videos showing how to get new residential and commercial customers with yard signs, postcards, social media marketing, Facebook ads, Google My Business listings, and so much more. These 6 videos are designed to help you expand with the best tactics and strategies to secure new customers and grow your business. The How to Get New Customers training program will get your phone to ringing. Hello? Visit LawEntrepreneurAcademy.com and pick it up today.
This is the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, broadcasting all around the world. So somebody must like it. Now, here is your host, Brian Fullerton.
All right, good deal, guys. Well, let's just jump right back into it here, hearing a little bit more about Wyatt's startup story and his lawn and landscape business. So you were getting started back in high school. You were, like you said, 17, probably like, a little awkward 17-year-old like most of us were and are. And so what was the startup idea to mow grass on the side? Was it just to start making some extra money, or were you even like thinking baseball in college, or how did you start balancing both of those kind of opportunities?
Yeah, so the balancing act was definitely the toughest part of it. Starting up when I was probably in middle school, my family bought 7 acres, down the street from our house, and built a pole barn there. And, we just had a Cub Cadet tractor that we'd use to mow it. We blew that up, just running into the ground. Bought another Cub Cadet tractor, blew that one up too. And at this point, I think this is the end of my junior year of high school. I was like, trying to convince my dad. I was like, come on, Dad, go buy one of those nice, fair zero turns. Let me mow with that.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I'm not spending that much money for you to, mow our barn for just us to see. He's like, I'm going to buy that mower. You're going to go make some money and pay it off. I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. So he bought it. He bought our first mower. I had 10 or 12 lawns that first summer, going into college. I didn't really, have a plan for the future. It was really just, see what I can do with the baseball thing. That was, my only plan all the way through,
sure,
middle school, high school. And then I think it was when I was 19, my second year, going into my sophomore year, I was like, you start making a little more money. And I was like, man, well, this is pretty fun and I'm making good money. I don't think I'm going to go to the major leagues. So maybe I should, start putting my focus on this.
So you said earlier that you were living in New York. Is that like upstate New York area, or where did you guys end up going to college?
Yeah, so upstate New York. I went to college in the Finger Lakes, actually, if you're familiar with that area. So I was about 45 minutes to an hour from my home, but all 4 years I lived on campus. So I was never at home. It was a lot of weekends running home, mowing all day, coming back at night for baseball practice, or, a lot of the time I would work, Friday night, work Saturday morning, have to drive back and pitch a baseball game Saturday afternoon, stuff like that.
That's crazy. That's a crazy schedule right there. Were you mowing, like you said, a couple of days a week, or did you do like 3 nights of mowing, or 3 lawns every night, or how did you balance all of that?
Yeah. So, as most people, it changed quite a bit each year. So like I said, that first season before college, I was doing about 10 to 12. Second year is probably, I think, 25-ish. And I got a pretty big office park contract in there. So that added a lot to that plate. Year 3 was probably around 35. And just kind of, grew pretty average the last couple of years. And then from last year, we were at about 50 weekly cuts. And like I said, I bought out a small company, which boosted us to about 30, and, just natural growth this year at about 95 weekly cuts.
Wow. No kid. That's great, man. For at 23 years old, that's huge. You guys will do 100, 150 easy, and probably 2 with snow. So that's maybe even more than that. What this other company that you were buying out, what did that whole process look like?
Yeah, that was it was maybe January. I just got a call from a guy in like the next town over who he'd done it on the side for 10 or 15 years, one of those deals. And he had done it by himself, but like I said, he'd been doing it for a while, and he had a pretty good customer base. And it was in a town where we had a presence, but I wanted to be more into it.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that was about 30 lawns, and it will be about 35 driveways for the snow plowing next year.
Wow! So you got the lawn and snow,
right? Yeah.
And do you guys do per push or for the contract for your snow guys? Where you guys are at?
We try to split it up about 50-50, so obviously you're covered for your expenses if you don't get any snow all year, but
sure.
At least you're not working for free basically when you do get snow. So we're split up about 50-50.
That's pretty good. Are you guys trying to more grow your lawn or more of your snow? Because I think you got 1 or 2 trucks running now?
Yeah, we had 2 plow trucks this past year. This year we'll probably have 3. I do love the mowing side of things just because it's recurring. We have pretty good density. We do about $5,000 a week in mowing.
Nice.
2 guys. So that's, if I can keep growing in those areas, as far as the dense areas we're already in, I'd love to keep growing the lawn mowing side. The snow plowing, I do like that as well, but, there's just so many horror stories of, people getting too deep into the snow, literally and figuratively. And we had to turn down a lot of snow contracts last year, so I never feel like growing the snow part of things will be a big deal. Or I shouldn't say a big deal, but I don't think it'd be too hard. So I'm really focused on, getting more recurring mowing contracts.
Sure. And how long is your guys' season up there in upstate? Do you guys get pretty similar weather as us, like 26 to 30 weeks a year, or where are you guys at on that?
Yeah, about 26 to 30, weekly mows. Last year, I think we did 30 on most of our accounts. The snow, I think we get a bit more than you guys. I think last season we did about 12 pushes, 12 or 14. Wow. So I think generally we're a little above Michigan, at least, what I hear from you. Mm-hmm. But, nothing crazy. A little less than Buffalo. They get a bunch of lake effect. We're just outside the lake effect band.
Sure. Did you guys get that 12, 18, 24-inch snowstorm that came through, what was that, like late December, January? Did you guys get that?
Yeah, that was a weird storm because, I was talking to a company outside of Albany a little bit, and they got like 38 inches in 18 hours or something.
Yeah.
We didn't get it nearly as bad. We got about 8 or 10 inches over, 36 hours. So it was manageable.
Wow.
That's I'm pretty glad we didn't get, the brunt of that storm. But
I couldn't even imagine. Could you imagine getting 36 inches of snow in 24 hours?
No, yeah, I don't want to think about it.
I mean, 8 to 10 inches is that's a lot of snow. I mean, and some of these guys listening in, I know we're talking lawn cares and whatnot, but some of these guys they do snow and they get feet in like you said, Erie, Pennsylvania, and Buffalo, or they live in Canada and they're like, you guys don't even know what real snow looks like, and I'm like, yeah. So,
right.
But man, I'll tell you what, we get a 10, 12 inch snowstorm around here. It's all hands on deck, for 24 hours. And, moving 10, 12 inches of snow, that takes some effort, it takes some muscle, takes some planning, but,
yep, it does. A lot goes into it.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Well, hey, let's do this. I want to take another quick break here. I'm going to get my good old sip of Mountain Dew from Taco Bell, who is not a sponsor of the show. But I want to come on back here in just a quick second. And if you can, I want to talk a little bit more about equipment. We've done quite a bit of guest interviews, and we haven't really got to talk a little bit about equipment in a while. But I noticed that you are running a couple brands that we don't really see too often around here, like Ferris and a couple other different pieces of equipment that you guys are rocking on the crew based on what I see on Instagram. So let's do this. I'm going to take a quick sip of Mountain Dew, and we're going to come right on back and hear a little bit more about Wyatt's story and also talk a little bit more about his equipment setup.
Choosing the right equipment also means getting service and support you can trust. Hi, it's Michelle with the Exmark Customer Service Team. We are committed to giving you the expert technical support necessary to keep your equipment performing at its best. Reach us by phone, email, or social media on any weekday, and we will respond quickly with advice you can trust because it comes straight from the folks who built your machines. Visit exmark.com to learn about Exmark's industry-leading service and parts support.
Hey, how you doing? It's Mr. Producer. GIE Plus Expo is coming back October the 20th through the 22nd, and Brian looks forward to seeing you all there. Now, if you haven't registered yet, do so now and get 50% off the registration price with the promo code BRIAN. And of course, I'll have a link for you in the show description.
All right, guys. Well, we are back, and we had to take the good old sip of Mountain Dew, the unofficial sponsor of all construction workers in America. And if anybody knows anybody at Mountain Dew, tell them to give me a shout, because I'm trying to build a house here. You know what I'm saying, Wyatt? But so anyway, which way? That's funny. I'm surprised, Wyatt, that we don't have anybody sponsoring the show yet with food. You know what I mean? Like, think about all the different food that we all consume during the day. Like, what do you and you guys go out and eat every day? You guys like Jimmy John's people, or what do you guys get for lunch?
Mostly I'm not mowing too much anymore. I got two guys who right now are mowing about 52 hours a week. But
nice.
Generally, I think, all of us just kind of pack a lunch, which I prefer, obviously, just because of the downtime. But yeah, once in a while we sneak in like you probably haven't even heard of it, but it's called Tom Walls, and they got they're like a small chain in the Western New York area, kind of like nicer burgers and stuff like that.
Nice.
So we'll sneak out to there every once in a while.
So you're in the office and then also eating these premium burgers and living like the 1% over here, brother.
Yeah.
Well, we have interview from Wyatt, the king of lawn care, and it's nice to see how the other side's living today. And
yeah, I wish.
I'm just having fun, brother. That's really cool, though. I've never heard of that place, so I'll have to check that out. But yeah, I was gonna say we need to get some like Jimmy John sponsors or Firehouse. Subs or sandwiches. I mean, like even like Taco Bell, I'm just kind of shocked. I'm like, we're hanging up there in the top, 50 and 100 with Dave Ramsey and Barbara Cochran, but we can't get a sponsor for some fast food around here. It's just unbelievable. But
right.
I don't know, man. We'll just blame it on COVID, But anyway, well, let's go back to your equipment setup, man, because you said you got started with that Ferris. So what was your first mower that your dad invested into to help you take care of your guys' main property? And then did you just decide to stick with that brand, or what are you guys rocking now?
Yeah, so we stuck with that brand all the way through, actually. That was a 2015 Ferris, and it was, I guess you could consider it probably a higher end residential model. It wasn't, didn't have like the dual gas tanks or anything like that.
Okay.
Cool.
But
yeah, we had that, from 2015, we bought it new, and then I just sold that in the spring a couple months ago. And in between there, I think we bought 2 or 3 new Ferrises that we since sold this past spring too. And then we bought 3 new Ferrises this spring going into this year.
Nice. What was that first what was that first mower, and did it hold up or was it a turd? Just asking.
It did hold up. I think we sold it, like I said, a couple months ago with about 1,000 hours, and luckily the past 2 years it was just a backup. But man, we really put it through the ringer the first couple of years, and it held up. So got us to the next level. So.
That's awesome. Do you remember what unit that was? Because I get a lot of guys asking me like best first lawnmower, and so I didn't know if there was a certain brand or model number for that Ferris. So was it like the IS 800 maybe?
That was the IS 700. Like I said, since then we've had a couple ISX 800s.
Okay.
And the ones we just bought a couple months ago are the ISX 2200s.
22. Okay. And then those are like the top of the line outside of the 3200s, right?
Yeah, right. The one step down from the 3200s.
What's the difference between a 22 and a 32? I don't know the Ferris lineup totally well, but I know some of the numbers there.
Yeah, I think it's just, your regular things, bigger tires, bigger hydros, bigger engines.
Yeah.
32s have I believe it's 12 mile an hour ground speed, and the lower models are 10 mile an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, off the top of my head, that's all I can think of.
Yeah. It's probably like the Laser Z that we rock with Arcsmark. There's like the E, S, and X series. So I'm sure it's, like you said, bigger spindles, bigger tires, and bigger bigger engine offering or something like that. But have you got the chance to run any of their standards, the Z2s or the Z3Xs?
No, actually, we've gotten rid of all of our lawns that we can't put a 61-inch zero turn on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's been kind of pretty intentional, just because, I'm sure you've seen nobody's really willing to pay more for, something that requires a push mower, say. So, we've really done away with, any lawns that we can't put a 61-inch zero turn on.
Nice.
In our area, we're mostly doing bigger stuff. Acreage wise, it's tough to say, but our average weekly cut is around $60 per trip. So it's bigger stuff generally. So that's just kind of what we're, targeting towards.
Yeah. Funny story. We had a new customer sign up just last week. We went and did it on Wednesday. It was a Tuesday lawn, but we had already left that sub, and the lady, I guess, caught our number on the way out or something. So we mowed the whole front and side, and as I'm about to like swing around the back, I notice it's fenced in. And I'm like, normally when somebody calls in, I, do the whole, do you have a gated backyard or a pool or any of that? Because we don't do gated backyards anymore either. And, but this was all via text. So lady signed up via text, and it's super simple to do this. And she was a great customer, actually. She was a really nice lady. And we get there, and unfortunately she had a gate, and I'm like, dang it. Like, we just, cleaned up the front, the side looks great. And then I you just kind of like lose, your face goes pale, and I'm like, dang it. Like, now I got to like tell her like, hey, we'll just take care of this one for you, or charge you 25 instead of the 37, So I was kind of like, we gained a customer and lost a customer all in the same half hour, But yeah, she's like, well, don't you have a small, she wasn't like rude. She was just like, don't you have a small mower from the backyard? I'm like, no. I said, none of my buddies that I know that mow in my area do anymore. Like, they're done with all these 32s and 34s and 36s. And I know half of you guys listen to the show, are like, yeah, right, dude. We couldn't even get through the first 2 hours of our day without pulling out the gated mower. I get it. But I always tell people that have that, like, maybe you've 100 clients, Wyatt, and 5 of them are gated. Like, instead of toting around another mower for $4,000 to $8,000, just get rid of those 5 clients, go get 5 wide open clients where you don't need that mower. And your guys will be happier. You have less equipment, less variables and parts and service, and just get rid of those gated backyards. It's not that hard to get a couple new customers, But
right.
Was that kind of your guys' experience when you guys were getting rid of some of those gated backyards?
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of them weren't even gated. They were just, very small or like really steep hills in some parts or something.
Oh, gotcha.
And a lot of the time we would just end up, weed whacking it, and it would take an extra 10 minutes, but it's better than, putting a push mower on the trailer one day a week.
Right.
And we kind of used that honestly as a selling point, hiring a couple new guys this year is, we have brand new mowers, they're zero turns. You're not going to even touch a push mower. So that's kind of been a selling point, because nobody wants to do that,
Yeah. If you can do that, that's the way to go, man. Because I have my guy Rob, and then he's got another guy Dave that's one of his friends that we hired, and they're kind of taking over the mowing for me this year. And Dave asked the same thing. He's like, "Do we push mow anything?" I'm like, "Heck no, dude! Like, right. I'm 35, bro. I pay dues every day, just like you guys. But I'm also ambitiously lazy, if you know what I'm saying. And if I don't have to, walk something or push mow something, there's no way your boy is doing that. But hey, one question I had for you, talking about the equipment setup. I noticed on your Instagram, you guys have this yard or the shop. I only a couple photos here, but is that something that you guys rent, or what's the whole story behind that?
Yeah, that's my parents own that. It's on our 7 acres that we just kind of started built for residential, just recreation use. We have a pretty nice basketball hoop in there that, unfortunately hasn't been used in quite a few years, which is completely my fault because I've just filled it with our equipment. But, yeah, that's how it started. It was just, for recreation use, park snowmobiles in it, play basketball in it, and I just abused the privilege and, filled it up with trucks and mowers and plows and stuff.
I'm sure the parents love that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did they charge you rent yet, or are you still getting off scot-free on that?
No, I'm still good right now.
Dude, milk it while you can, brother.
Yep. They told me when I get my fourth truck, though, I'm out.
Is that the rule?
Yep. Only let me put 2 in there.
Keep it at 3 then. I mean, if they made up the rules, follow the rules, right?
Right. Yep.
That's awesome. What's the? Do you happen to know the size and dimensions? Because that looks like a snug fit, but it also looks like it's a good size. It's not more than you really need either. You know.
Yep. It's 72 feet long and 40 feet wide.
So it's 72 by 40.
Yep.
And do you feel like it's too long, or would you do longer? Now you can tell the questions are getting personal.
Yeah, you're not building a pole barn, are you?
I don't know, brother. I don't know, man. Maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I think the 70 is pretty good for, like a setup like yours or mine with, a big truck with a, 16, 18 foot trailer.
Right.
We back in 2 of those side by side. So I would say, anywhere between 65, 80 feet is a good length. And then the width just, kind of depends how many garage doors you have.
Right.
As far as how much you can fit in side to side.
Yeah. Everybody said 40 by 60. I've had some people say like 50 by 80, and I'm like, dude, I can't build a warehouse on my property, and that gets a little ridiculous. But no, that's good to know. If you're at 40 by 72, that looks really good. By the way, if you guys want to check out Wyatt's Instagram page, it's Wyatt Conklin, Conklin lawn maintenance. We'll try to plug that in the show notes, but Wyatt's got a great Instagram going and some really cool photos, like I said, and different equipment setup than what we get to see sometimes day to day around me. But yeah, that a lot of guys are telling me Wyatt to go with 40 by 60, and I think we got a quote right now with Morton, so I'm waiting for that to come on back and see what we're going to do on that pricing, and see if it's under $1 million, right? Like everything else these days. So
yeah, lumber is ridiculous. But one thing I would say is I don't think you'll ever, wish you went smaller.
Right. And that's the key, the statement I keep hearing, like people that said like 32 by 50 or 32, they got all these like set sizes, right? Everybody was like, go big if you can afford it, or even stretch into it, like that kind of deal. I'll tell you what, with our garage, that's what I did, because the garage, like the architect came back, and it's like a decent sized garage. I mean, it was bigger than my first apartment, and the guy's like, this is like a good sized garage. And I'm like, well, make it bigger. And he's like, well, how much bigger? I go, I don't know, like add 3 feet in every direction for every vehicle. And he goes, well, you got the space. And because I live in this rental apartment that we have, this luxury apartment, and I've already like commandeered the whole garage with my 4-wheeler, and I got a cart mate pallet on the floor. My studio takes up a whole side, and I'm like, this garage needs to be about 5 times bigger right now. So, But anyway, I digress. But no, that's pretty cool, man. So one other question I had for you, as we kind of button this thing up, you got a lot of good fellas and buddies in the photos with you with the company. How many guys are you guys rocking, during the regular season? And is there like a peak, like maybe in the fall or in the spring with cleanups or mulch season, or where are you finding all these guys and all the help? Because a lot of these people are trying to, hire and grow a bigger team, kind of like you got going on. So if you got any tips, that'd be really helpful too.
Yeah. As far as tips, it's tough. Be a good friend. Nobody's going to want to help you out, if you're not a good friend of them. This far, everybody who's worked with me has been a friend. Just about. My right hand guy, he's been with me. This is his 3rd year, and he was actually my roommate all through college. So that's how I met him, and he's actually ended up moving to my hometown to keep working, with me. So,
oh wow,
I mean, it's really just look out for your guys, because a lot of the times they're friends first and foremost, and I know a lot of people kind of warn against working with friends, but the way I see it, if you put the friendship first, it's been good to me, and I think as long as you keep that in mind, then it'll be good for both of you.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool. I like I said, I see a bunch of photos with you and your guys, and you got to take care of your people, man. I always try to tell people that, and like you said, nobody wants to work for a jerk or somebody who's cranky or somebody who's cheap. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So Wyatt, let me ask you this really quick as we button this up. You're 6 years into the season, and like you said, you got a handful of guys working for you, and it seems like it's growing every day. So where do you want to take things over the next couple years? Are you trying to grow to that $500,000 $1 million mark and 10, 20 guys, or are you guys happy with a good team of 5? Or what's the goals for the next 12, 18 months that you're looking for with the company right now?
I want to keep growing kind of conservatively. I'm not a big fan of growing via debt. It is good in certain circumstances, but I prefer to, cash flow as much as you can. So in the next 12 months, we're probably going to add a third guy plowing this year. So that'll be, another truck out plowing. And then next year, just, again, conservative growth. I want to keep growing, the next 5 or 10 years, but not too much, not too fast. I don't want to infinitely grow into a multi-million-dollar company, but
sure.
Yeah, small controlled growth is my idea.
Hey man, if you're building it cash, with cash as you go and debt free, and you got a couple $100,000 a year in revenue coming in, and you guys keep your overhead low and keep renting out your parents' barn, then that could be a really good cash flowing business right there, and cash cow for you, man. And that's really, really exciting stuff. Well, normally we wrap up the podcast with any kind of like parting thoughts or pearls of wisdom that you want to leave anybody, or where this whole like wrap up thought came from was me trying to leave breadcrumbs to the 10 or 15 year ago me. And so, if you're talking to the Wyatt who was just getting started 6 years ago, and whether he was, doing the baseball thing or not, any tips for those guys, that are in their first few years of their startup hustle, just like you were?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Well, honestly, I think part of it was when I started, I think, what do they say? Ignorance is bliss. If I knew it would, be 4 or 5 years before I really make any type of money, I don't know if I would have gone through with it, because as soon as you get that DBA license, you think you're a business owner and you're going to be rich next year, but that's really not how it goes. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
If I had to tell myself something, maybe it was, I don't know, feed myself some lies and tell myself I'd be rich next year, so I keep going. But that's not how it goes. So I guess it would just be, there's no substitute for hard work. You just gotta, cliche as it sounds, you just gotta keep going every day.
I like it, man. It's simple and it's honest, and
yeah.
People ask me all the time, like, how much money can I expect to make with a lawn and landscape business my first year, by 5 years, by 10 years? And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I'm like, how hard do you want to work? And
how much risk do you want to carry?
Yeah. And people like sometimes get frustrated at that answer because it's not like it's a straightforward answer, but it's not the answer they're looking for, and because I can't tell you how much you're going to make. I did a coaching call back in December with a guy, his first year in business is doing $800,000 in revenue. And he's listening to the show. He listens to every show, and people are like, 800,000. What? Like, that's impossible. Listen, dude, how much do you want to work? How networked are you? How many people do you know? How many people know you? And but I'll tell people that was not my story. My first 10 years in business were scrimmage. They were try, fail, adjust. They were ugly. And it's only by doing things wrong forever that I was able to kind of start dialing it in with also some help and some mentorship from this community and some really good friends that have been on the show. And a lot of you guys know those people. But great answer though, man. So where can people find you if they want to keep up with you? Are you on Instagram or Facebook, or where can people catch up with Wyatt if they want to go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, one thing I would add to that is you made a really good point is I've gotten a ton of value from, the community as a whole. I definitely, would have been way further behind, probably a year or two if I didn't, plug into the community as much as I have. So that would definitely be one piece of advice, learn from everybody who's made the mistakes that you're about to make. So,
that's good.
Yeah. Other than that though, Instagram, just Wyatt Conklin Lawn Maintenance, no spaces, no underscores. And Facebook is just Wyatt Conklin Lawn Maintenance as well.
Nice. And what general city are you in? If people ever want to reach out to you, maybe they can network if they're in upstate New York area.
Yeah, we're in the suburbs of Rochester.
Suburbs of Rochester. All right, man. Well, hey, you're like 4, 5, 6 hours away from Novi, Michigan, man. Entrepreneur Academy Live 2021, November 13th. You know what I'm saying? And
I know I got to make it out this year.
I was gonna say, if you're at 6 hours or less radius, man, there's no excuses to make it. It's our annual live event that we do. It's a barn burner, and last year we had like 300 people there. It was crazy. We did all the social distancing and the masking and all that mess, but really it was a barn burner. And if you were there, you knew that it turned out just an amazing opportunity and event. But yeah, and if you guys are in New York or PA, I mean, it's not really that hard or that far of a trip. It's a 4 to 6 hour drive, man. So hopefully we'll see you guys there in November. But if not, maybe GIE in Louisville in October. I'm sure all those GIE promo codes and all that mess are probably out now or coming out. So I'm sure Marty, Mr. Producer, can leave all those links in the show notes. But well, hey Wyatt, that's what I got for you on today's episode, man. Thanks for taking a half hour to an hour out of your busy evening. It's funny when Wyatt called and I picked up, I said, "Hey, dude, I'm coming in hot. I just got off of mowing 7 commercial properties. I just did a coaching call and ready to bang out a podcast." And he's like, "Dude, I'm coming in hot too." So we're we're all working real time in the spring here, man, making it happen. But we appreciate you taking time to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
Awesome, brother. Well, guys, we'll button it up right here. And again, if you want to follow Wyatt over there on Instagram, Wyatt Conklin Lawn Maintenance, we'll make sure to leave all of his info in the show notes. But Wyatt, you are a baseball aficionado, so I will tell you, you did a bang up job. You hit a home run on this episode, brother, and can't wait for it to go out there into the ecosystem and pay it forward and help out the next guy, man. So great job.
I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you.
You bet, brother. All right, guys. Well, hey, let's kick it over to Marty over in the ATL, and he will button this thing up. We always appreciate him bringing you guys the show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail. So, guys, let's kick it over to him, and we will catch it up with you guys here on the next one.
As they so often say in showbiz, that's a wrap. Another killer episode of Fullerton Unfiltered in the books. Hey, it's Marty, and in an upcoming episode, I'll be sharing some more of your reviews of the podcast. I encourage you to go over to Apple Podcast, drop the 5-star rating, come up with a pithy, well-worded, maybe even sarcastic review. Just something that's entertaining. In fact, that's my number one rule. Don't be boring. That's a good rule for life. Don't be boring. And I look forward to reading your review real soon on another edition of Fullerton Unfiltered.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.